Hey everyone, today's story is different. We're taking you into a world where business meets horror, a place millions visit every day, but only a few know what really happens there after midnight. Tonight's story takes us inside Walmart. Get ready for a true experience you'll never forget. Don't forget to subscribe, share this video with your friends and family, and tell us in the comments, where are you watching from? Enjoy the video, because what you're about to see you'll never expect. My name is Derek Collins, and until a few months ago, I worked as a night security guard at a Walmart in southern Indiana. I've done a lot of night shifts in my life, warehouses, gas stations, you name it, but nothing ever felt quite like that store. It looked ordinary during the day, bright and loud, kids running around, cashiers talking, the smell of popcorn near the entrance. But when the last customer left and the doors locked at midnight, it was like the entire building exhaled. And went still. Too still. I started the job after the previous guard. Marvin quit unexpectedly. That's how they phrased it. The manager, Mr. James, didn't say much about it, just that Marvin didn't come back after his third week. On my first night, an older stock clerk named Richard leaned over while we were doing the safety check and muttered, "If you're smart, you'll stay away from aisle 17 after 3. I laughed it off. People love to haze the new guy. But there was no smile on his face. At first, everything was quiet. Walmart at night is a different world. The hum of the freezers, the flicker of the fluorescent lights, the echo of your own footsteps across endless tile floors. Around 3:10 a.m., I saw something odd on the monitor. A cart was rolling slowly down aisle 17. Nobody was scheduled to be there, and the doors were locked. I zoomed in. No one was pushing it. It just moved on its own until it hit a shelf and stopped. I grabbed my flashlight and went to check. The air felt colder near that aisle. I reached the cart, looked around, and nothing. But when I put my hand on the handle, it was freezing, like it had been sitting in a freezer for hours. Then I noticed something on the floor. Small, wet footprints like a child's, leading behind the shelves. But when I followed them, they just stopped halfway, as if whoever made them disappeared into thin air. Back in the security room, I replayed the camera footage. The screen flickered for a second, then stabilized. I could see myself walking down the aisle, but there was also someone else, a tall, dark shape standing at the end of the row. It wasn't clear, almost like smoke, or static yarn, but I swear it was watching me. I checked the footage again frame by frame. In one frame, that shadow had moved closer. In the next, it was standing right behind me. The next night, I tried to brush it off. I even joked to Richard about it. He didn't laugh. He just said, "You shouldn't have looked back at the cameras." At 2:58 a.m., the lights in the left half of the store flickered and went out. The only section still lit was, of course, aisle 17. On the monitor, something was standing there again. This time I could see arms, long, thin arms reaching out from between the shelves, brushing against the shopping carts like they were feeling their way around. Then I heard a voice from the intercom. Soft, distant, a woman's whisper. "Derek." The intercom system had been shut off for the night. I ran toward the aisle, heart pounding. The lights buzzed overhead, the smell of metal and dust in the air. When I turned the corner, there was no one there. But every shelf had handprints. Dozens of them. Small, gray, child-sized handprints smeared across the glass and plastic. When I told Mr. James, he stared at me for a long time, then said, "You've lasted longer than Marvin." I asked what happened to him. He blinked slowly and said, "Who?" The next night I found a printed photo on my desk and from one of the cameras. In it, I was standing in aisle 17, flashlight raised behind me. A pale figure with long hair and hollow eyes was leaning over my shoulder, smiling. But I never saw anyone that night. I quit 2 days later. When I turned in my badge, Mr. James didn't even ask why. He just nodded as if he already knew. It's been 4 months since then. Sometimes, around 3 a.m., my phone vibrates. It's the old Walmart security app I forgot to uninstall. Every alert says the same thing. Movement detected in aisle 17. When I open the live feed, it's always empty. Just rows of silent shelves under flickering blue light. But once, just once, I saw something, a reflection in the glass of a refrigerator door. a tall shadow behind me, and a pale hand resting on my shoulder. The feed froze, then went black. My name is Lucas Reed. I started working the night shift at Walmart just 3 weeks ago. They told me the previous guard, Derek Collins, suddenly quit after an incident. When I asked my manager, James Harper, what happened, he gave me a short, tired smile and said, "The night shift isn't for everyone, Lucas." But something in his voice told me there was more to the story, something he didn't want to talk about. The first night. It was nearly midnight. The store had just closed. All the aisles stood silent and still, lit by the cold fluorescent lights that never seemed to rest. There's something unnatural about Walmart after hours. The silence feels alive. I entered the security room and sat in front of the wall of screens. Dozens of cameras showed every corner of the store. In the bottom left feed was one, labeled aisle 17. I don't know why, but I didn't like looking at that one. It gave me a strange, sinking feeling in my chest, like the air was heavier when I stared at it too long. About an hour later, while sipping cold coffee, I noticed a piece of paper wedged under the keyboard. It was a printed frame from one of the cameras. The image was grainy, faded with age. It showed a man in a security uniform standing in aisle 17. Behind him was something tall, dark, like a human shadow stretched impossibly long. In the corner of the print was a small caption, Derek C., 3:04 a.m. My stomach dropped. That was him, the previous night guard. The second night. That night, I started hearing faint noises echoing through the aisles, cartwheels squeaking, footsteps that stopped when I did. Every time I checked the cameras, there was nothing there. I told myself it was just the building with the air conditioning, maybe the cleaning crew. But around 3:07 a.m., movement appeared on the aisle 17 feed. A shopping cart slowly rolled forward on its own. Then it stopped. Then it started moving backward, like someone was pulling it by an invisible string. Hesitated, then grabbed my flashlight and walked toward aisle 17. The air was cold, the lights flickering slightly. When I turned the corner, the cart was there, motionless, and beside it, lying on the floor, was a plastic ID badge. I picked it up. It read, Derek Collins, Night Security. My hands froze. Suddenly a whisper came from above me. Lucas. I looked up. The security camera was tilted down toward me, moving on its own. The third night. The next morning, I went straight to my manager. I found Derek's ID in the store, I said. He looked confused. Who's Derek? I stared at him, certain he was joking, but his eyes were empty. I showed him the badge. He didn't even react. That night, I decided to leave camera 17 recording on a separate monitor, full screen. If something was happening, I wanted to see it clearly. At exactly 3:04 a.m., the image began to shake. Something moved between the shelves, a tall, thin figure, its head bent too far to the side. It stopped in the middle of the aisle and looked up, straight into the camera. The feed went black for 3 seconds. When it came back on, I saw myself, standing there, in aisle 17, looking directly into the lens. But I was in the security room, watching. I turned around, and the door behind me creaked open. The fourth night. I don't remember leaving the store. I just remember waking up at home, my Walmart uniform still on, dirt on my shoes, and a dull ringing in my ears. When I checked my phone, there were no calls, no messages. But my security app, which connects to the store's camera feeds, and had a new notification. It was a live feed. Aisle 17. I tapped it. The video loaded slowly, glitching for a few seconds. Then I saw the aisle. Empty. Silent. Until a figure stepped out from behind the shelves. It was me, holding a flashlight, whispering something I couldn't hear. And right before the feed cut out, the me on screen looked up, smiled faintly, and said, "My name is Lucas Reed. And I'm writing this because I need someone to know what's happening inside the Walmart on Pine Creek Road. If anyone finds this, don't go there at night. Don't even stop by the parking lot after closing, because something inside that place watches you back. The morning after. The day after I saw myself on the camera, I went back to the store like nothing happened. I had to. I needed the job. And honestly, I needed to understand what I'd seen. The manager, James Harper, greeted me like usual, but there was something off about him. His skin looked pale, almost grayish, and his eyes were darker than usual. Tired, distant. I asked, "James, do we have an archive of old security footage?" He frowned. "Why?" "I just wanted to review some of the older recordings. For training." He hesitated, then handed me a small silver key. "If you really want to see it, go to the recording room, down the service hallway, end of the corridor. But don't stay long." His voice cracked on the last part. The recording room, it was a small, windowless room behind the electronics section. The door was heavy, metallic with a sign that said authorized personnel only. When I opened it, the air was colder, stale, like no one had entered for years. Inside were old VHS tapes stacked along the walls, hundreds of them, labeled by date and aisle. I searched through the labels until one caught my eye. March 4th, aisle 17. D. Collins. My pulse quickened. That was Derek's last shift. I slid the tape into the old monitor. The image flickered to life. The grainy view of aisle 17 appeared. At first, everything looked normal: shelves, carts, the distant glow of the emergency lights. Then at 3:04 a.m., the camera jolted slightly. A figure entered the frame, Derek Collins. He looked nervous, flashlight trembling in his hand. He stopped, turned toward the camera, and whispered something I couldn't hear. Then another shadow appeared behind him, taller, thinner, with limbs too long to belong to a person. The tape started glitching violently. Derek turned around, his mouth open, but no sound came out, and then his flashlight fell to the floor, rolling slowly until it stopped in front of the camera. When the image cleared, Derek was gone. Only the shadow remained. It slowly lifted its head, and I swear I saw eyes, two glowing dots of pale light staring straight into the lens, and then the feed switched. It was no longer showing aisle 17. It was showing the recording room itself, and in the corner of the frame, I saw me sitting in the chair, watching the tape. The whispering walls, the door behind me clicked. I turned, but there was no one there. Then I heard a faint sound, like static whispering inside the walls. It wasn't the machine, it was voices, dozens of them, whispering names, numbers, times, all around me, like the building itself was remembering something. 3:04. 3:04. 3:04. The whisper grew louder until it became a scream of static. The monitor turned black, and then, just for a second, a new image appeared. Aisle 17. But this time, it wasn't the store I knew. The lights were off. The shelves were empty, and in the distance, I could see shapes moving between the aisles, like shadows shopping in the dark. The manager's secret. I stumbled out of the room, the key still in my hand. When I turned the corner, I ran into James. His face was pale, his eyes blank. He said quietly, "You watched it, didn't you?" I nodded. "Then you've seen them?" I asked. "What are they?" He shook his head. "Not what, who?" "They used to work here." Before I could say anything, he added, "Every few years the store replaces someone. The cameras choose." I thought he was insane. But then I saw his reflection in the glass door, and it wasn't his face. It was Derek's. The last recording that night, I returned to the security office. Every camera feed was offline except one, aisle 17. The screen flickered, static pulsing like a heartbeat. Then the image sharpened. I saw myself again, standing in the aisle holding a flashlight, but this time, the figure behind me wasn't a shadow. It was James Harper. His face stretched into a grin that wasn't human. The feed zoomed in, slowly on his eyes. Two white lights burning in the dark, and Then the words appeared on the bottom of the screen. New employee registered. Lucas Reed position, night security status. Active. The screen went black. No one has seen Lucas since that night, but every night at 3:04 a.m., in stores across the country, one security feed flickers, aisle 17. And if you watch long enough, you might see a man in uniform standing motionless, staring back at you, wearing a badge that says, "I wasn't supposed to publish this story. In fact, the Ohio Tribune told me to drop it entirely. But after what I've seen, after what I've found, I can't stay quiet anymore." My name is Ethan Grant, and for the past 6 months I've been investigating a series of unreported disappearances linked to Walmart, night shifts across the Midwest. It all started with an anonymous email. The email. The message came from an untraceable address, no subject line, just a single attachment, a blurry photo of a security badge. The name on it was Derek Collins. The email's body contained only one sentence. "He never quit. Check aisle 17. I searched the name online. Nothing. No missing person reports. No employment records. Almost as if Derek Collins had never existed. But 3 days later, I received another message. This time a short video clip, distorted and full of static. It showed the inside of a Walmart store, time-stamped March 4th, 3:04 a.m. A single frame showed a man in uniform staring at the camera. Behind him, something long and thin moved in the dark. Then the feed cut to black. Visiting the store. I drove to the Walmart in Pine Creek, Ohio, where the clip supposedly came from. It looked normal, too normal. Families shopping, bright lights, friendly staff. But when I asked about the night shift, the manager, James Harper, tensed immediately. He said, "We don't do night shifts anymore. Corporate decision." That was a lie. I'd seen trucks unloading merchandise at 2 a.m. So I stayed in the parking lot that night, hidden behind a delivery truck, and waited. At 12:47 a.m., the lights inside flickered. Not off, but like something was drawing power from the building itself. I saw silhouettes moving inside. 3, maybe 4 figures. None of them looked human. The missing employees. Over the next few weeks, I contacted former Walmart employees from across the Midwest. 6 of them agreed to speak with me. All 6 had one thing in common. They'd been reassigned or dismissed after witnessing something during their night shifts. A woman named Kara Mitchell, who worked in maintenance, told me this. "It's always aisle 17. Doesn't matter which store. They try to keep the layout the same. Same angle, same shelves. One night I walked past the aisle after closing and then all the lights were off, except one at the very end. I thought someone forgot to turn it off. When I looked again, it wasn't a light, it was eyes. After that night, she quit. But her resignation letter was never processed. According to Walmart's internal records, she was still active staff, the pattern. I compiled everything into a spreadsheet. Derek Collins, disappeared March 4th, 2019. Lucas Reed, last seen April 2, 2021. Kara Mitchell, untraceable since July 12, 2022 too. Unidentified male staff, both unreported, different. Stores different years, same aisle, same timestamp. 3:04 a.m. every single time. When I sent this to Walmart's corporate office, I got an automatic reply. "Thank you for contacting us. Your concern has been forwarded to the Safety Compliance Department." 2 days later, my email account was locked. My phone started showing strange notifications, access from unknown devices, all from Bentonville, AR. That's Walmart's headquarters. The tape. A week later, a package arrived at my office. No return address. Inside was a single VHS tape labeled, "For Ethan, aisle 17, 3:04 a.m. The footage began just like before, a still view of the aisle. Then, slowly, a figure entered the frame. It was a man in a security uniform. Name tag, Lucas Reed. He looked directly at the camera, whispered something I couldn't hear, and placed a piece of paper on the floor. Then the image glitched, hard, like something was trying to come through the screen. When it cleared, the camera angle had changed. It was showing me, sitting at my desk watching the footage, and on the paper in the frame, I could read the words, "Stop watching." Now, it's been 3 days since then. Every time I look at a reflection, glass, mirror, my laptop screen, I see that same aisle behind me, faint and distant. The worst part? Last night I got a new email, no message. Just a photo of my own office. On my wall, someone had drawn a number with a marker. 17. I tried calling the number from the envelope that came with the VHS tape. It just rings once, then plays a faint whisper. 304. I think they found me. And if anyone reading this works for Walmart, if you're assigned to the night shift, do not check aisle 17. No matter what you hear, no matter what you see, because the cameras are watching. And once they record you, you never really leave the store. The story should have ended with the tape. I told myself I was done. But 3 nights later, at 2:59 a.m., my phone rang. No number, no caller ID, just one word flashing on the screen. Private. When I answered, I heard breathing, then a man's trembling voice. "Is this Ethan Grant?" "Yes. You've been talking about the Pine Creek store. I worked there. I was on the night shift." My chest tightened. "Who are you?" "Name's Caleb Morrison. I don't have much time. They're still watching the feeds." The confession, he sounded terrified, whispering every few words. I started recording immediately. He said he'd been working maintenance at Walmart for 4 years, and that he knew Derek Collins and Lucas Reed. "They told us never to enter aisle 17 after midnight," he said. "They said it was because of electrical faults." "But it wasn't that," I asked. "Then what was it?" He paused. Then I heard faint static behind him, like a radio between stations. "They said the cameras were automatic, but I saw something move one night. I checked the power logs. The system draws energy from somewhere else at exactly 3:04 a.m. every night, even when the store's closed." My computer screen flickered as he said it. He continued, his voice shaking. "Derek found out first. He told Lucas. Then both of them disappeared, and the managers act like they never existed. I could hear him moving, maybe pacing around. Then a sudden loud thud echoed through the phone. He whispered, "They're in the hallway." The live broadcast, I started a live stream on my backup channel. Grant investigates. Live viewers joined within seconds. People, then hundreds. "Everyone," I said, my voice trembling slightly. "I'm talking to a man inside the Pine Creek Walmart right now. He says he's found evidence about the disappearances." Caleb's breathing grew faster. "They told me to clean aisle 17 tonight. They never told me why. I'm going in now. I'll show you." The viewers flooded the chat. "Don't go in. This is fake. 3:04 is in 5 minutes." I watched the time in the corner of my screen. 3 a.m. Caleb switched to his phone's camera. The feed was shaky, grainy but live. He walked through the dark store, the overhead lights buzzing softly. Every sound echoed like thunder. When he reached aisle 17, the lights were dimmer there, almost gray. The shelves were empty, as if the store refused to restock them. "Look," he whispered. "Do you see it?" There was something faint in the distance, a reflection maybe, or movement. The chat exploded. "What is that behind you?" "Run!" Caleb turned around. The camera caught a glimpse of a tall, thin shadow leaning out from behind a shelf. Its shape bent unnaturally, its head too low, its hands too long. The feed froze, then screamed static. 3:04 a.m. The live chat went wild. Everyone thought it was a stunt, but then the stream didn't stop. It stayed frozen for exactly 3 minutes and 4 seconds. Before the screen cleared, the camera was lying sideways on the floor. The store was silent, and in the background, barely visible through the shelves, stood a man in a Walmart uniform. He wasn't moving. He was staring directly into the phone's lens. The name tag on his chest read, Derek Collins. Then the feed went black. Aftermath. The live stream vanished from YouTube within an hour. The replay link redirected to a message. This video has been removed due to a violation of community guidelines, but hundreds of people had seen it. Some downloaded it before it disappeared, and in every copy, something strange happens at the 3:04 mark. If you slow it down, You can see another figure standing behind Derek. It looks like a man wearing a press badge, a badge that says, Ethan Grant. The loop. I don't remember ending the stream. I don't remember sleeping. All I know is that this morning, I received another email. It had no message, only an attachment, a still image from a security feed. The timestamp read 3:04 a.m. The location, Bentonville, Arkansas, Walmart headquarters. And in the image, you can see an aisle, you can see the shelves, you can see the shadows. And if you look closely enough, you can see me sitting at my desk watching the feed. To anyone still reading this, if you work at Walmart and your schedule says night shift, look carefully at your clock. If it's 3:04 a.m. and you're anywhere near aisle 17, don't look up because the camera is already looking at you. Got it. Here's the full leaked dossier translated into English. I kept the structure, dates, file names, and technical details from the Arabic version, but made everything read like an internal leak package. Emails, DVR logs, HR excerpts, staff chat snippets, frame descriptions, transcripts, forensic notes, and an analyst summary. All names, times, and entries are fictional but formatted to feel authentic for use in a documentary-style video or narration. Leaked dossier. Walmart, aisle 17, leak source. Encrypted internal folder delivered to reporter. Source withheld, collection dates. Documents dated between 2019-2025 executive summary. A. Recurring set of unexplained incident centers on aisle 17 across multiple Walmart stores. Internal records show anomalous activity consistently appearing at 03:04 a.m. with camera footage corruption or manipulation. HR and maintenance records suggest attempts to suppress or redact incidents from centralized logs. Several employees are listed as missing, reassigned, or later treated as if they never existed in official records. This dossier assembles multi-format evidence, emails, logs, images, audio transcripts, and presents a consolidated timeline of the events from an internal leak perspective. Document A. Internal email, redacted source. From Security, Ops at Pine Creek, Walmart. Internal, redacted. 2. Store MGR, Jarper E, Pine Creek, Walmart. Internal date, 04 Mar 2019, 05:12 a.m. Local. Subject, Incident Log, Camera 17 Anomaly. James, Camera 17 experienced a feed glitch overnight. Timestamp 03:04. DVR reports 00.0. 03.10 segment corrupted, maintenance dispatched, but found nothing physically wrong. Recommend we mark as system error per Corp SOP. T. Nguyen, Security Ops Leakers Note. This message shows an early attempt to classify the incident as a routine error before later logs indicate manual edits. Document B, Surveillance Server Log Snippet. Between 1903-04, 0303-58, Cam 17 Heartbeat. Normal si was night answer 304030401. Cam 17, motion detected, sensitivity, low, 2019-0304, 30402, Cam 17, feed. Packet loss 98%. Switching to cached buffer, 1903-04, 3043 DVRA, write lock initiated, user. System 190304, 30404, DVRA, buffer overwritten by remote stream. Origin 1012 Mir 5, 2019-03-04. Air 30405. Admin action required. Auto purge. Scheduled 19-0304, 030406. Cam 17 feed returns and single frame dump. Frame. Kan gam sangur 406, turn to 1903. There bor. Rotharies or cut or wet on frame into under and don't there. Check some mismatch. Flag red technical note. Presence of an internal IP, 10 to 12.05. Originating external write operations at the exact moment of anomaly suggest remote packet, injection, or a redirected stream write. Document. Source Charter's payroll excerpted employee Collins, Derek ID, WMT 90817 hire date 2018-11-03. Position, night security last badge swipe 2019-03-04-0258 AM notes. Badge swiped. Exit gate log shows no record of employee leaving premises. 3:12 a.m. Status. System. Active manual HR note. 04 Imar 2019. Employee not found. Payroll hold. Reported missing, store level. J. Harper Leaker's note. Access control logs and HR entries conflict. Badge events indicate presence, but exit logs and later status reconciliations create inconsistent histories. Document. Tourist maintenance channel excerpt and internal chat. Maintenance channel. Karam. Anyone saw lights flicker around 3 a.m. last night? Aisle 17 was glowing weird. Tomby. Yep. Carts moved. Unplugged the shelf cam and it still showed movement on the monitor. Karam told manager he said faulty sensor and made me sign off report. Felt wrong. Tomba, bro, don't sign weird stuff. They reassign names after incidents. Heard it from Richard. Karam. Reassign? What do you mean? Tomby, payroll reconciles employee names. Clean slate. If you know, you know. Leaker's note. Staff chat indicates pressure to sign off and a pattern of HR reconciliation after incidents. Document E, frame description, extracted still, file. Cam 17 frame Horizon 30406 JPG, still extracted. Low res 640 360. Contrast enhanced frame description, leaked. Center, a shopping cart in aisle 17, wheels askew. Left, a long, semi-transparent shadow draping between shelves like hanging fabric. Inside the cart, a paper receipt or slip. Handwritten with the message, "She doesn't leave." Capital letters. Slanted far end of the aisle, 2 small reflective points resembling eyes. Technical note. The file header shows foreign byte insertion. Checksum errors indicate the frame was injected or rewritten by an external buffer. Document F. Interview transcript excerpt, Caleb Morrison. Date 24/012 leaked interviewer, anonymous, excerpt. Caleb. They told me to do a night specifically cleaning aisle 17. At 03 bow, we were told lights were unstable. At 03:04, the monitors went nuts. Interviewer. What do you mean by went nuts? Caleb. Cameras would show the aisle, but sometimes show the office. Sometimes show your face. Once it showed me sleeping at home. Like the feeds. Looped us. Interviewer. Did you see anything physical? Caleb. I saw a figure. Not a person, long arms. It doesn't move like we move. It leans like a tree in wind, but it never falls. When you look at it directly, the cameras cry. They do this static thing, and then the frame rewrites itself. Document G, corporate safety email, redacted. From safety, walmart.corp, auto, to store mbgr jarper pine creek.walmart, internal date, 2019-0305, 07/22. AM subject, incident follow-up. Camera anomaly. James, per SOP, classify event as technical fault, camera 17. Remove any unverified physical evidence from the area and submit a standard repair ticket. Please ensure all staff sign the non-disclosure acknowledgement included in the attachment. Corporate expects no external inquiries. Walmart Safety Compliance Leaker's note. Directive to suppress external communication and force. NDA suggests corporate containment response. Document H. File metadata. Extract file name. Aisle 17 frame 290402030408. MP origin Pine Creek Store DVR01 retrieved copy. Capture time 2019-0402 030408MD5 redacted. File modified by user. SVC Migrator 10 Dalsman Rotofinga. Timestamp 2019-0402 30409 EXIF notes. Injected via remote buffer. Origin certificate unsigned. Document I. Maintenance field report tech. Teen Nguyen security. Upstate 2019-0405 findings. All camera hardware and wiring tested. No physical tampering. DVR logs show recurring packet reroute to internal service IP at exact 03.04 timestamps. Rebooting DVR produces cached frames that show non-local frames. Recommended escalation to IT security. Action taken. Replaced Cam 17 head unit. Temporary. Nullified old frames, per corp request. Document J. Whistleblower note. Internal. If you're reading this, they've probably scrubbed the rest. We found a folder under Vault. Archive, GIL 17 loops. Dozens of frames of employees captured in the aisle after they disappeared. Some of the images show them standing there, frozen, while other frames show a crowd of thin silhouettes browsing shelves. We tried to copy them. The server threw them back like a mirror. Anonymous Insider, Document K, Audio Forensic Summary File, Cam 17 Audio 0304 Clip WAV Extract. Duration, Durer 12 Low Bandwidth. Content, Forensic Notes. Aberderer 4. A whisper is layered beneath ambient hum pronouncing a name, Derek. Simultaneously, phase-shifted audio matches the voice print of on-site manager Jay Harper. Verified. At 108, a low-frequency subsonic pulse registers, 1218 Hz. Frequencies associated in literature with disorientation and nausea. Audio then clips technical note. Overlay of on-site staff voice prints in the clip suggests either playback or an audio loop with injected managerial markers. Analyst summary. The phenomenon is highly time-specific. Eero 304 aim recurs across logs and artifacts. Technical evidence indicates the issue is not a simple electrical fault. Packet injection, remote buffer writes, and file modification by an internal process are recorded. Corporate communications exhibit rapid suppression behavior, NDAs, instructions to remove unverified evidence, and classification as routine faults. Employee accounts consistently reference long, thin silhouettes, whispers, and the feeling that camera feeds reflect people places incorrectly, feeds looping or showing. Non-local scenes, HR and payroll reconciliation. Patterns after incidents make official employee tracking inconsistent, impeding external tracing of missing personnel. Appendices appendix. Ace name and date index from leak Derek Collins in last. Logged 2019-0304. Status unconfirmed missing Lucas. Read last logged 2021-0402. Status unconfirmed missing Kara. Mitchell anomalous resignation 2022-07-12. Status payroll active. HR inconsistent Caleb. Morrison audio witness 2024-08-12 and status unknown. Last contact livestream 2024-09 Appendix B. Investigative recommendations for external investigators. Preserve raw DVR files before any reboot or replacement to 2. Acquire network logs for internal subnet. 1012 Dogs focusing on 430R0306. Timestamps true. Use file hash preservation tools to validate any subsequent changes. Secure. Witness statements and keep copies of any NDA or HR forms signed after incidents. These can be evidence of containment. Leaker's note closing. I didn't send this to scare people. I sent it because I couldn't keep quiet. If this is just a technical problem, someone should say so clearly. If not, it means something in our systems is taking snapshots of us and holding them. Don't go to aisle 17 after closing. The leaker.